Hi guys! Most beginners think plugging a guitar into an amp is just plug and play. But if you don't do it right, you can ruin your tone, annoy your neighbors, or even damage your gear. Today I'll show you how to set up your guitar and amp step by step, explain how each works, and share some tips to get a great sound from day one. What you'll learn. By the end of this video you'll know the gear you need, how the guitar and amp talk to each other, the safest way to connect, and how to dial in your first tones, and what to avoid so you sound your best. Gear checklist. You'll need an electric guitar, instrument cable, 1/4 TX shielded, amplifier, combo head plus cab, tubes or not, optional pedals and strap. Before everything, just make sure your cable is an instrument cable, not a speaker cable. They look similar, but a speaker cable can introduce noise or even damage your amp if used in the wrong place. How the guitar works. Inside here, pickups are little magnets wrapped in copper wire. When your strings vibrate, the magnetic field changes and generates a tiny electric signal. It's called an analog signal. This signal is super low level and it's an amplifier to get loud. So strings, pickup, electric guitar signal, output jack. Single coils are brighter but can hum. Humbuckers are fatter and cancel noise. So how the amp works? Your amp has two main jobs: shape your tone and make it loud. The signal first hits the preamp, that's where the gain control lives, along with EQ for bass, mids and treble. Then it goes to the power amp, which boosts enough to move the speaker. The speaker turns it back into sound waves. Tube versus solid state. So there are two kinds of amps, tube amp and solid state amp. So what's the difference? A tube amp uses these old glass tubes that boost your guitar sound. They give you that warmth, that rich tone, and they respond to how hard or soft you play. Hit the strings harder and it'll break into a nice smooth overdrive. Downside: they're heavier, fragile, and you'll need to replace the tubes every now and then. Now, a solid state amp, on the other hand, uses electronic instead of tubes. They are lighter, cheaper and way more reliable. The tone stays always the same no matter how loud you go, and you don't have to worry about swapping parts. They might not have that tube magic, but modern ones can sound really close. Safety and preparation. So rule 1, volume down, amp off before connecting. That prevents loud pops that can damage speaker or your ears. Tube amp, always let it warm it up about 30-60 seconds before playing. With tube amps you turn on the power first. The black button on the side, it's in standby mode. After waiting 60 seconds you turn off the standby mode and you are ready to go. Power off, connect, power on. Warm up tubes. Warm up for tubes, of course. Cable into a guitar output jack. Other ends into amp input, guitar volume knob around 810, amp EQ to 12 o'clock neutral, gain low to start, master at 0, power on, raise, volume slowly. Just very slowly. Think of the guitar as your voice and the amp as the microphone, and the speakers combined. You want a clean conversation before shouting. Amp controls. So in a tube amp, gain controls how hard the signal pushes the preamp tubes for natural overdrive. While in a solid state or digital amp, gain sets the input level electronically just to create distortion. Low gain equal clean signal. And high gain equal overdrive or distortion. So, the master volume amplifies your preamp signal, turning it louder or quieter. So EQ is how you shape your guitar's tone by adjusting the balance of low, mids and highs. The bass is the low end of the signal, so it adds depth and warmth, but too much can sound boomy. Mids just shapes the body and presence. Helps your guitar cut through a band's mix. Scooping mids can sound modern, boosting them makes the guitar stand out. Treble is the high end, adds brightness and clarity, but too much can be harsh. Okay, so I just want to give you a beginner tip. Start with EQ knob at 12 o'clock flat and adjust one at a time while listening. I think just small changes make a big difference. Guitar controls. Pickup selector, bridge equal bright byte. Neck equal warm. middle equal balanced. The guitar tone knob is a control on your guitar that rolls off high frequencies from your pickups, making the sound warmer or darker. Fully open gives you maximum brightness and clarity. Roll it back and reduces treble, softening sharp or harsh tones. This is often used to mellow out solos, tame a bright amp, or just get that smooth jazz blue sound. Don't take me wrong, but I'm gonna make an analogy. Just think it of like a sunglasses filter for your guitar sound. Pedal basics and signal flow. And if you have pedals, the basic beginner order is guitar, tuner, drive, modulation, delay, reverb, and amp. So the order you plug your pedals, it really does matter, especially if you're just starting out. Always start with the tuner. Why? Because your tuner needs a clean signal to work properly. If you put it later in the chain, all those effects can confuse it. Next we've got drive, distortion or overdrive. You want your amp to hear this sound first before you add any special effects. So after that it's time for modulation. Chorus, phaser, flanger, you just name it. All the stuff that makes your tone move or shimmer. Just think of this like you sprinkle them on after the main dish is cooked. Now you can add delay or reverb. These are time-based effects. Putting them at the end makes everything just sound natural, like you're just in a big hall or out in the mountains, yelling at an echo. So if your amp has an effects loop, try putting your delay and reverb in there instead. You'll just get a cleaner, more defined repeats and a more professional sound. Common mistakes. Using the wrong cable type. An instrument cable is shielded for low-level signals. A speaker cable isn't shielded and can cause noise or even damage your amp if used in the wrong place. Plugging in the wrong jack. Always use the main input, not the effects return, unless you know why you're doing it. Maxing all EQ knobs. Turning bass, mids and treble all to 10 o'clock makes the tone harsh, muddy and hard to control. Ignoring the guitar volume knob. Your guitar volume control is a powerful tool. Rolling it down can clean up a distorted tone instantly. Too much gain for clean tones. If you want a clean sound, keep gain low. High gain will distort even at low master volume. Let's talk about the troubleshooting. If you have no sound, check the cable connections, amp, power, guitar volume and battery in active pickups. Hum or noise, try a different cable. Move away from lights or monitors and avoid returning instruments cables parallel to power cables. Distorted at low volume. Lower gain, check pickup high. Pickups too close to strings can overload the signal. Okay, so now you understand how it all works. Please just drop your amp and your guitar model in the comments and I'll give you settings just for you to try. Like, subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.